Hello, Alex here, and welcome to the Beaglington Review. And this time I'll be looking at this. It's the Bachmann Europe PLC Henry the Green engine with electrically operated moving eyes. Yes, so this is the Bachmann Henry the Green engine, and I'm going to take it over to the desk and get it out of this packaging, and then we'll see, how well it runs, I suppose. Yes, hello and welcome to the Beaglington Review, and welcome to my desk. Now, as you can see, even though I've done the intro, what I have here on my desk is the cardboard box that I actually posted on my community tab, which arrived while I was doing the editing, I think it was, for Project Auburn. And I've just opened the top here, and I'm going to open it up now, and then I'll shoot the intro up before I actually take it out of the packaging. But this, I just wanted to show the packaging that how well it's been packed from Rails of Sheffield. So you've got all this bubble wrap, and then what we've got here, we've got thank you for your purchase, that's the invoice, and then we have thank you for your order from Rails of Sheffield. We hope you enjoy your purchase, and it just is with compliments, and it has their details and wanted for cash for exchange. So that's a nice card. And then in here we have the Bachmann Europe PLC Thomas and Friends Henry the Green engine, electrically operated with moving eyes for use on double gauge track. And this is the updated one for the British market. As you can see, it has the Next 18 DCC logo on it. And on the other side, it's got a QR code, which says for instructions, scan the QR code. And it says tested LC. Not sure what that means. Maybe it's leaving cert. I don't know. And then obviously on the back, it's got the other characters that you can get a hold of. So it's got Thomas, Percy, Toby, James, Gordon, Edward, Harold, and Bertie, and their item numbers. And there's a list there of other available rolling stock. And then obviously there's, I think this is 12 volt DC, and there's your item number is 58745BE. And there's the Thomas logo, and you can't use it if you're under 3. You have to be 3+ and have an understanding of how model railways work, I suppose. Made in China. So yeah, that's Henry the Green engine, and the colour really is very vibrant, and it reminds me so much of the Ertl diecast model of Henry. And I'm going to get it out of the box now, or rather the blister packaging, and we can examine the model more, and I can show you a bit more about it. Right, so I've used my scalpel to cut away plastic, and I can now remove Henry from his backing card. So just pop that out of the way, and we get to open this up. And this is going to be really interesting because I have had a Hornby Henry, and I mean, it was pretty good because it was Black 5 like he is in the books, but he doesn't look like he does in the TV series, whereas this is very much like he does in the TV series. And like I said, the die-cast models that were based on the TV series. And the first thing to notice is that some of the details are quite basic, but you have to remember that these are intended for children. So the axle boxes in this version, at least, are painted black, because on some of the Bachmann America Thomas locomotives, they're grey. But these are black, which is fortunate. However, in transit, it looks like this axle has come loose. So I'm just going to see if I can get it back in. There we go. They're all very free to move anyways. And there's some writing on the bottom that's just, the usual stuff, the Bachmann logo. It's very light. It just feels like you expect an empty plastic tub to feel, but it's got hooks and buffers on the back, and they're all nicely painted. You've got this brake pipe here, yeah, the level of detail in terms of extra bits is not high, but remember it's meant to be a toy. So you've got these sort of doors on the side of the tender and the steps, and there's the back of the tender there. So that's the tender, the number 3. That's Henry, but the main piece is this. If I can figure out how to get some out without breaking him. So this is Henry post crew rebuild in the TV series, because in the TV series, when he starts out, he has his old shaped firebox which comes down at slope, and now he's got this big one which obscures his cab windows very much so. And it's very strange because it looks like he's got cab windows, but they're actually just painted black, because when you look at the inside of the cab, they are not there. You could probably 3D print a very thin detailed plate of a smoke box, not smoke box, of a firebox, and all of the controls and stuff to go in the cab. There's definitely enough room to try and fit a crew, but whether they would clash, I mean, I've got a fireman here. You know, he's very short, actually. He can't see out the windows in terms of scale. And these are supposed to be HO scale American Thomas the Tank Engine, but actually British 00. But actually, the driver and fireman really can't see out of the cab, which is going to probably explain why they didn't see that signal before his rebuild and the flying kipper ploughed into the back of that freight train, goods train, whatever you want to call it. But now, the model itself, it's got a plastic whistle, it's got this top heater, is it? And the dome, you know, it's fairly smooth, fairly basic, no extra fitted parts, so that's pretty good for kids. He's looking quite happy there, and he's got these silver handrails and splashes. And I'm trying to think of ways that I can describe him in terms of, look, isn't this fantastic? But really, the main thing is that he's a representation of the character. So on that front, it looks pretty good. Apart from the fact that he has these sort of lines just under the smoke box, just here, and the same on the other side. I don't know if it's glue or something, something to do with the face, obviously. But yeah, it's that's the only thing. And he's very shiny. It's very nice, and you know, it's you get what you wanted, because you wanted a Henry that looked like the TV series. However, I cannot couple him to his tender because the drawbar's facing the wrong way. So we have to free that and put that there. And then the tender is just a peg that goes in there. Now that should be fine on the level. Whether you'd have any trouble, you know, if you were to suddenly go up too steep an incline with a long train, you might have a problem. But it's got a spring, I think, on there as well. So I don't know if that can be tightened, but that gives a bit of added movement. And then on the bottom, it's all fairly nice and black and shiny and clean. And the wheels are nice and clean as well. There's no extra little bits of fluffy polystyrene or anything because it's blister packed. And you can just about see over here, maybe. I don't know if it will pick it up on the camera. You can see some of the wires and stuff inside and the motor. But yeah, overall, you know, he is what he is. He's a working representation of Henry from Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. And you can see he's got these lamp irons on the front that work better than the Hornby ones ever did. And he's got his funnel. He's only got a small one because he's a big engine. So yeah, he does feel pretty sturdy though. You know, he's not a light engine. But I'm just going to grab the Black 5 that I have for a size comparison, because we know that in the Railway series, he's meant to be a Black 5. Or should I say a Green 5? So, there's Henry, and there is prototype he's supposed to be behind him. So, as you can see, they are roughly the same size. You know, there's not that much in it, really. So it's not too bad. Henry's a little bit bunched up there. If I just put them as they are there, they are about the same length. Yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously, they're a completely different shape, and cab-wise, if I take off the timbers, the windows are, you know, at the same sort of height, but the problem is the height of the cab floor. And, you know, that's really where the problem is. You could put in, if you wanted to, when you were putting in your detail, you could put in a false cab floor to make it higher, about where those pegs are in the corner, and that would give you the right sort of height. I don't know if you'd have to do the same thing with the tender. Yeah, that's definitely way too low. But yeah, if you're looking to make it look a bit more realistic, I'd say go ahead and design maybe on CAD, because I don't think one's available, but just make yourself your firebox and your handle things, whatever they're called, regulator, the brake handle and whistle, all that stuff, for your cab interior, and paint it up, and it can look less toy-like, I suppose. So that's just a quick look at Henry on the desk, and I apologise for any other unconscious times where I've referred to his firebox as a smoke box. I'm not thinking clearly, evidently. But his wheels are a perfect match in colour as well to his body, but I've just noticed there's a little tiny bit of paint missing there. Yeah, other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing how he runs. So we'll give him a little test, and then I'll leave him running for a while. And then I suppose we can see whether he can pull the flying kipper. And I'll try him first on those old Triang vans, which I don't think he'll be able to pull, because if the mechanism is anything like the Bachmann Thomas that I have, it'll be fairly weak, but we'll find out. And then if he struggles with that, it's fine, we'll swap it over to the slightly more modern version of the flying kipper with better axles. So... oh, Smushbus has arrived at the sound of the flying kipper. Right, let's get on to the layout. Here we are then, with Henry down on the rails at the rear of Beaglington-On-Sea. And I'm going to be using my HM2000 controller, and I'm going to try moving him forwards for the first time. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of power, and there we go. He's just pulling away there now, and that's pretty smooth like that. Slow speed running. It's not too jerky. You just increase the speed ever so slightly. Yet to see his eyes move yet. Oh, they're coming across the front. I mean, what child is going to be shunting Henry around at this speed? But anyways, I'm going to leave Henry run now for a while, and half speed is about that. He's quite noisy, and he's running on third radius. I'm not sure if the tender will clash with the body on a tighter radius. You might see his eyes moving as he comes past now. Yep. So, yeah, I'll leave him running, and then I'm going to do the flying kipper test next. Well, Henry is now doing his reverse circuit round the layout. Smokebus appears to have found the box from Rails of Sheffield. It's amazing how these cat traps work. Like, you just place an empty box on the floor and whoosh, the cat just pops into it. Are you happy there, Smokebus? There. I can have the train for my model railway, Smugpuss can have the box, and the kids can have the bubble wrap to play The Floor is Lava. Ooh. Ooh, yum yum. Smugpuss says delicious, delicious bubble wrap. Anyways, Henry should be nearly finished now. Right, I'll just bring Henry to a stop now. Yeah. Anyways, so Henry, I find when he's running is, he's a pretty smooth runner, but he is a bit rattly. And like I said, I don't know if that's because his tender is quite light and plasticky. I don't know whether that rattliness will be less so once he has his train attached, but we'll find out, I suppose. So I'm going to go get some fish fans for Henry. So Henry is now coupled up to the old style flying kipper, or the triangle style, as I should say, really. It's the any brake van that I have is a mainline one, and then there's a closed axle box triangle Intel fish fan, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white open axle box style Intel fish fans, and then 2 of the slightly more modern blue ones. And I normally have a red one with NE on the side, but I actually can't find it. And I checked both my wagon drawers and I just can't find it. But never mind. So Henry is coupled up to the front of that train. And we're going to find out, even though his tender's off of the rails, and we're going to find out if he can pull them, because a lot of engines struggle with those open axle boxes. And then if he can't pull them, we'll test him on the more modern, slightly more free-rolling version of my flying kipper. And if he can pull them, we'll add some more vans from the newer one, and we'll just see what happens. But for now, let's see if he can pull these. Now, this test might prove to be slightly unfair because he's starting on a curve. But I can always move them back if it doesn't work. So I'm going to increase the power now. Oh, he's trying to go backwards. Go this way. Oh yeah, it's definitely starting to feel the strain now. That's 50% speed though, and the train is moving. I don't want to overload it though. He's starting to slow down now that they're all on the curve. I think he may have met his limit in 5 of these wagons. I don't think he has the weight, maybe. Perhaps if he can get onto the straight and he can get the momentum up, we'll see. He's still going though, he hasn't stopped. But he's certainly not enjoying it. I mean, that's full speed, and he's slowed right down. So I think he's kind of stuck there. But what I'll do is I'll take one off. That's 4 of the triangle ones, and we'll see if that has any difference whatsoever. I mean, you can't see it, but he's just crawling along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the triangle kipper fans. They're old ones, and they usually stay on the siding, and they don't get used very often. So we'll take those out of the way, and I'll get the new one. So Henry's train is now composed of ex-Hull and Barnsley railway vans in northeastern weather delivery. The JPGR Beatles wagon, the Fish Fingers Bird's Eye one, there's a Sam's Trains Powell van just here, and then there's 2 Thomas and Friends Hull and Barnsley vans, and then a Railroad Northeastern van there, and then the other Triangle vans. And so we'll see now whether Henry can pull this train. This is kind of the normal length sort of train I'd expect an engine on my layout of Henry's size to be pulling, so I should hope that he can manage this. And these wagons are not heavy, they're all pretty light, so the only real problem will be any friction caused by there being a number of plastic axles in the train. Well, that's certainly a lot better than the previous attempt. So this is Henry now up to full speed. Here he comes through the station at Beaglington-On-Sea. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. That's Henry with the flying kipper. So my kids are going to be delighted with that. The smelly fish train. And that's top speed. I'll just suddenly cut him down to half speed on the straight. And this is half speed now, and he's still managing it perfectly fine. It would be nice to get a next 18 sound decoder for Henry. One that could get blown with phrases like, "I'm not going to ruin my green paint and red stripes for you," or something like that. But for now, anyways, I'm going to get some nice footage of Henry running alongside. There's Billy Shears, the tank engine, with his circus train. And there is a Great Western open cab pannier tank on the middle line with the Bachmann Thompson Friends towed at the end of the train. Ooh. He's performed very well, I think. Stop him there in the station. Now that performance was actually incredibly consistent. There were no issues at all with his running, no stalling, not across any of the 2 points over there, which is, you know, he has no contacts in his tender, so he's been going over this double section of points perfectly fine. I didn't do a points test, so I'm going to quickly roll them back over and drive them into the siding and back out again before we draw our conclusions. well able to push his things backwards. So we'll just park him there next to Gordon, and we'll see now whether he can get through these points. I'll set him to go through the S bend of it because that will be a better test. So, ready, go! Ooh. Yep, he went through there perfectly, and then back out again. Ooh, he's just getting stuck on the platform. Can he get past it? No, says the smug bus. Interesting that he got in, but couldn't get out. Oh well. Right. Back to the station, Henry. I imagine the signalman's having a bit of a heart attack right now. There. So yes, that was the Bachmann Europe / Bachmann UK Henry the Green Engine, and I think it's pretty good. You know, it's a decent representation of the TV series model. It's not necessarily Railway Series accurate, but for kids who've grown up watching the television series and who have had maybe the die-cast models, it looks like Henry, as it should. It can pull a flying kipper of, I think it was like 11 or 12 fans and a brake fan, which is more than enough probably for a 6x4 layout. And so it's probably going to be alright pulling maybe another 3 or 4 vans, I'd say. I think, I mean, I'll try in a Beaglington-On-Sea video, see whether he can pull a decent rake of coaches, but that's another story. But yeah, would I buy another one? No, I don't need to. But would I buy more of the Bachmann Thomas range? Well, based on seeing a tender locomotive, because before I only had Thomas, I'd say probably yeah. If I can't repair my Hornby converted locomotive that is Gordon, if I can't repair that, I may get a Bachmann Gordon when funds allow. But, you know, it's going to be really great to have Henry in some of my Beaglington-On-Sea videos, and, you know, maybe I'll have a bit of a green engine theme for St. Patrick's Day, and he can lead that. But for now, all I'd like to say is thank you very much for watching another one of my reviews, as we'll call them. It's more just like a glance over. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope this helps you if you haven't necessarily seen all of the model in a video before that you wanted to see. Could you shush, Swooshbus, please? I'm trying to do the conclusion. So yeah, my views are, it's a good model. I'm just standing here waving it around. It should be on the layout running because it's, you know, it's really fantastic. So I'm so glad to have it. And the kids will be even happier. But for now, I should go. So thanks very much for watching the Beaglington review. Don't forget you can like, share and subscribe and comment. And thank you very much to my subscribers as well and the people that do comment. And I'll see you next time for another Beaglington review. So, you know, see you next time. Oh, and there's also the subscribe bubble and the playlist thing. Yeah, I forgot that. But you've been a wonderful audience, and I've been Alex, and he's been Noisy. So, until next time, bye!